Welcome to Fresh Off the Set. I'm Carrie Hawker-Diaz.
And I'm Brooke Mangum. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, we're talking about online dating.
Okay, so I never had to do online dating.
Neither.
Did you? Okay.
I was so glad. I feel like it seems so difficult to navigate and everybody's just one swipe away.
It can be difficult. I know it works because we have a lot of couple friends that's how they met, is online dating. So you definitely, it makes it easier, I think, in some ways where you can meet people. But man, dating, I think about my 20s, it was rough.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's just such a different world now. Like, because, back in my day when we were dating, like, it was like the weirdos were online.
When everything was in black and white and the dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Exactly. Like, it was like the only people that were doing online dating were kind of like different. But now it's everybody they're only meeting online. Like, you don't meet people through friends anymore at the grocery store or old school.
It's online. Well, and like when we dated back in the day, did you ever think to do a background check on somebody?
I should have. The people I was dating, like, unfortunately, I had to discover they were dirtbags in real time.
Well, that wasted your time. See, with Tammi Pickle's company, she'll just do background checks for you. But anyway, I talked with Tammi, and she's a dating expert. She talks about like online dating, the good, the bad, all the things between like ghosting, weird people like we mentioned, which you're going to get whether you're online dating or not.
It's the world. There's weird people. And wouldn't you like to know that they're not the right one before you get in too deep? And that's what she's going to be helping us with today.
Yeah, let's do it. Should we just give a listen?
Let's go.
Okay. If you've ever found yourself navigating the wild world of online dating, you know it's not always as easy as it seems between ghosting, shady characters, and the overwhelming number of options at your fingertips. It can be really tough to know who to trust or how to make the right connection. Tammi Pickle with Elite Connections is back to give us her expert tips as a matchmaker. Great to talk with you, Tammi.
Yes, thank you for having me on. Excited to talk with you.
Of course, I'm so excited.
The crazy world of dating.
It's so wild. I have to say, I am no longer dating, but like back in the day, I was not good at it.
Good
but
for you.
Yes, it started like I didn't ever have to do any of the apps or anything, but I know they work, and we'll dive into those in a little bit. But let's start with ghosting. That definitely was a thing in my 20s. I don't think we were calling it that yet, but ghosting seems to be a common issue in dating today. Why do you think people ghost, and how can someone deal with it when it happens to them? And if we haven't talked about, like, if they're like, what is ghosting? Maybe we quickly talk about what it is.
Yeah, I think someone that just kind of drops off the face of the earth.
Yep.
I think it's easier for people to avoid hard conversations, by just not responding. And in the beginning, when you want a first date or a second date and they're just not feeling it, I feel like people just have an easier time just not responding if somebody's like reaching out because they're not interested. So you can kind of take a cue that, like, okay, if somebody's not responding, they're probably not interested. And sometimes it's easier to do that. I know I've done it myself. Because, you feel bad, like, oh, I wasn't feeling it, or you're a nice person, but I don't want to go on a second date. Sometimes those are hard conversations to have. So I think people just kind of avoid and then just hope somebody gets the idea. But then, I think it's more complicated and a little disrespectful when someone, you've been dating like for a little while and then you just stop hearing from them. That's the rude part. I think you need to communicate. You need to like grow up, have some balls, and just let somebody know, that you're going in a different direction. You don't feel it. You're, wanting to end things, whatever it is. You need to be honest, because you wouldn't want that done to you. So just like be respectful of people and their emotions. And I think sometimes if it's like you're dating somebody and you're maybe exclusive and spending a lot of time with that person, just give them a bit of respect to have a conversation, or at least just a text,
At least just a text is so true. And you mentioned, like, especially if you're a long-term relationship, how do you think ghosting impacts, like when we're talking about our emotional health and our emotional well-being, how can that impact a person's mental health, especially, when you're really invested in a potential connection?
Yeah, I think it's really hard because your mind wanders and what happened? What did I do? What went wrong? You're just thinking of all the what ifs, or, what happened? Are they okay? I mean, it has happened to me and I'm like, what the heck? And you're just, thinking in a million different directions of what happened or did I do something wrong? And, I think it just like there's a bit of closure if you at least can have like a little dialogue about like it ending and maybe why, or at least closure that it's done versus just never hearing from someone. I just think it's so rude. And I think, I don't think anybody would want to be treated like that. So I think we just have to think about other people and, treating people with kindness and respect and the way you would want to be treated. And give them that, like maybe it's too hard to have a face-to-face or even a phone chat, but like maybe just letting somebody know over text. I'm not feeling it. We're two different worlds. I just don't, feel like it's going anywhere, whatever it may be. But just like laying it out on the table. So you're not just totally fall off the face of the earth and just never say a word. I would just feel horrible doing that to someone, but it happens all the time.
It does. It totally does. Yeah, absolutely. And especially I think when we go into dating, we're it's on our mind, okay, if this doesn't work out, how do I end this correctly? Or is someone going to ghost me? And when you go on, okay, let's talk about first dates. So it can be totally intimidating and spending a lot of money it's not always necessary to make that great connection. What are your thoughts on low-cost first date ideas like coffee, hikes, or virtual meetings before going out in person, that maybe mini date?
Right. I mean, I think a lot of first dates, you kind of know right off the bat if you're interested or not interested, and you also should probably get to know them better. But usually I think right off the bat, if you are attracted, if there's chemistry, if there's something in common, you can chat and talk about things and, kind of on the same wavelength. So I think a short little date, I always hate wasting my weekends on a first date because I'm like, oh my God, I'd rather be with my friends or my kids or whatever.
Totally.
And this bad first long dinner date that you're like, oh my God, I want to get out of this. So I think short dates for the first date are good. I think coffee date, juice date, even a weekday appetizer drink date. So something short where you can just get in and get out and of course be like each other, then have a better second date. I don't know if a hike or a walk on a first date. I don't know.
That seems a little dangerous. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not as into that. I'm like, okay, you want to just sit down for a cup of coffee or, a juice or something. But I have had little FaceTimes or things like that as well, where at least you can see the person and see if there's a little bit of chemistry, even a phone call, right? You can see if there's some easy interaction over the phone and then take it from there. But even in person is really important. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste their time. They don't want to waste their time. So just I think a quick little first date is easy. And I think, you feel better about not wasting an hour or 2 hours and they're spending a bunch of money and you're like, oh my God, I'm not interested. I feel bad.
Yeah. I think people like to get to the point, especially if you're maybe older and dating, you're just I know that I don't want to spend that much more time with you. I just know that I'm not going to want to invest. But what about virtual meetings? Like you mentioned, are those happening a lot, Zoom dates?
Yeah, I mean, usually a FaceTime, or if they don't have, an iPhone, a Zoom, I guess. But yeah, let's hop on a quick, chat to see each other. Sometimes if you're far away and you don't want to drive to meet someone, so that's a good starting point to even just chat and talk. Yeah. Because a lot of people do like to have phone conversations, so why not throw a virtual, into the mix just to see each other. So I think that that's good. I think if you're local, it's easy to get together to do a little coffee or, happy hour, have a drink or whatever, and not necessarily do the whole dinner thing. So yeah, something easy and quick. If you're farther away from each other, I am hearing a lot of, virtual first phone calls or meetings that way. And then if you like each other, then you sit down and get together.
Very cool. Lots of options these days. Okay. If we go into maybe the red flag area, there are now groups where people share experiences about bad dates, warning others of red flags. Have you ever encountered situations where you wished you could share information about a bad date to help others?
Yes, I actually have personally met someone on an app, and we were chatting for a bit on the app, and then we exchanged numbers. And I, of course, Google search everyone. I background search everyone because, within my company, I mean, everyone can do it and everyone should do it. But I Google searched this guy's number, and I find out he's like, I think 47 at the time, 10 years ago. So he's 37. He was arrested for soliciting a minor online and gets caught. So this is under 18 and he's 37 at the time, like disgusting.
Yeah.
He has a 14-year-old daughter, and I hadn't even talked to him, but I am so disgusted. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to share with everyone. But I'm like, well, at least he's using his number so that I can find him. And like, if there's little girls going over to his house, their parents can Google search him. So like, I mean, how do I share that to the world? But there are sites. I've heard of these sites where people do share this kind of information. And I tried to share, and they shut it all down because I was giving too much information, I guess. So like I like sent the whole thing, like arrest warrant and his photo and everything. And they're like, oh, that's too much. I was like, oh, sorry, I don't really know how this works. But I think it's great to be able to share, if they're meeting people that aren't who they say they are, and they're lying about who they are. And, I turned this guy in to Bumble, and they removed him, but I'm sure, he can get back on and use a different name or whatever. But yeah, it's scary out there. We need to protect ourselves. And I think forums are great to be able to share information, and see if other people know anything about the people that they're dating, and a lot of people hop on. It's actually pretty terrifying when you're dating to see all these people that are like cheating and dating lots of people at the same time. And you're like, oh my God, I'll just stay single.
It can be a lot. Well, that can be very overwhelming. And not knowing somebody's past when you're just starting to date them, especially if you have kids and you want to introduce eventually the kids to them. So you think getting a background check on everyone that you date, would you say like in the beginning, or like how far in?
I mean, I Google search everyone before I meet them, but you can also background search them. So there's free sites. I mean, my company uses a paid service. It's like $10 a month or whatever, but there are free sites where you can look up, there's criminal history you can look up and that kind of thing, and just make sure they're not married, those types of things. But TruthFinder's a good one, and it'll kind of show you criminal background, and if they're married, where they live and area and that kind of thing. All you need is the age, location that they live in, and first and last name. So you might not have all that information, but when you get it, then you definitely, look into them. But Google searching can actually find a lot nowadays, court records and arrest records and things like that.
Good old Google.
Definitely good old Google.
I mean, yeah, better safe than sorry. I like that. So just do a little research before. Okay. And we talked a little bit about like sometimes it can be overwhelming with dating with the apps. Let's get into the apps and potential matches. Do you think people are becoming like too quick to move on because they're feeling that there's always someone better just to swipe away? Like they're too quick to move on?
Definitely. I think that they think that there's so many options out there that another better person will come up, within their apps, and so they continue to, not give somebody a fair shot because they're maybe chatting with someone, or they're excited about someone they swiped on, or they're still on the apps and they're still swiping, they're still chatting even when they're meeting people. So I don't think people give people the opportunity because there's so many options at your fingertips. I know I personally have done it as well. Like, oh, I'm chatting with somebody, but then, somebody else I just swiped on, I'm even more excited about. So then I stop talking to that one, and I'm like, oh, well, and then that one falls through, and they're like, oh, shoot, I ruined it with the last one. I mean, I know it happens all the time because there's so many options, and, you're chatting and dating is a process, and you're just like chatting and getting to know someone. So you're not like fully invested in anyone right in the beginning. But I think there's people are on multiple sites at the same time. And I don't know how you juggle all of it. But I know, at least on these forums, they're like, oh yeah, 3-4 women will all pop up at the same time. Oh yeah, we're all chatting with that person at the same time. Or we're all meeting this person at the same time. So, I mean, people are out there and they're dating multiple people. So you gotta be careful about that as well. Make sure if you're dating someone and, you want to be exclusive, you need to have those conversations and be open and honest. And I guess not everybody is open and honest about what they're doing. But, make sure that you try to have those conversations. Are you still dating? Are you on the apps? Or, are we exclusive? Or are we supposed to be dating other people? It's tricky right in the beginning, but if you're getting more serious, dating for a few months and you feel like you're wanting to be exclusive with this person, you want to have those conversations.
Sure. Totally can be tricky, especially if you're just chatting on the apps and so let's talk about like Bumble and Hinge. What has your experience been like on those platforms? Can you share any interesting or like even shady experiences you've had while using Bumble and Hinge?
I think a lot of people just they lie about their ages, they lie about their pictures, and it's like every time I go out with someone, I'm like, oh my God, you look so much younger on
You don't
your
even
photos.
recognize them.
I know, it's really bad. And like sometimes you'll be like, oh, are you 47? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm actually 57. You're like, what? Like, I just don't understand how, because I am a super honest, upfront person, and like 10 years, like what is happening? It happens all the time, and so it's tricky out there.
Yeah.
I also am in this business, and that's why we check IDs and vet and screen. So like, I want to be super careful about these things too, but sometimes, Googling, you can't find the person, you can't find their age. And so it is tricky. You think people are being honest and trustworthy. But really you can say anything you want to say out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Hinge is good. They give like a bit of information about like what they're looking for, which is nice, because sometimes people are like, I'm just looking to mess around, or, oh, I am looking for something serious. I want monogamy, or I don't want monogamy. And so I think if people are honest on those types of things, that's helpful, because then you're not choosing people that don't align with what you're looking for. There's some, people like they're like, oh, I'm in a relationship and we're looking to, have a third. Like, you're like, oh my God, what is happening? But at least they're being honest about it.
Yeah.
But I do know a lot of people that have met that way. So I'm not totally bashing it, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of, a lot of frogs.
But it does work for some people.
I'm sure there's some princes out there. I haven't quite found it, but I know people have. So I'm not totally bashing it. I think it is a good way of meeting people you wouldn't normally come across. Because I personally, don't date my clients like that are in my company. So, and I'm a single mom too. So how do I meet people? Like all my friends are with someone, and, so it is a nice way to like chat with people and meet people. And I think not everybody is like super serious about settling down, but then you'll come across somebody that maybe, is, and I know people have had success. So yeah, I think it's a good way to meet people, and we're all busy. If you're like kind of, parents, then and you're working, and how are you meeting people? It's a bit tricky.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you mentioned you're a single mom, so let's dive into that. What specific advice would you give to other parents, anyone listening who's like navigating the dating world and trying to protect themselves and their kids?
Yeah. Definitely, like I said, Google search, background search if you can, but make sure you can even just ask for a first and last name if you can't find that person. I think it's important to be able to do a little background, because you don't want to let randoms into your life. Make sure you don't don't let them know where you live right away. Obviously, let friends and family know where you're going, so they can look out for you.
Yeah.
Also, I have heard some horror stories of people getting stuff put in their drinks and things like that. So, you have to be careful about all of those things. Meet in obviously a public place. Like, I would not advise the hike or walk when you're first meeting someone. Somewhere where, you feel safe and you, you're not going to get into a compromised situation. I don't know how many times I've heard, like, going back to someone's house after a first date or whatnot. You don't know this person. You have to be very careful and cautious about what you get yourself into. I mean, a lot of people are trustworthy, and we believe what people are telling us, and maybe have a bit of a guard up, that they maybe are not being totally honest, trustworthy, and you have to get to know them, and really do that research and background and vet yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Sure, that's true. You got to advocate for yourself and the need for that, safety. And you're actually starting your own dating app that pre-screens and does background checks on users. What inspired you to create an app like this, and how do you think it will make a difference in the dating world?
So our matchmaking company, as of now, is not really for the masses. It's, it's an expensive service. You have hands-on kind of matchmaking and whatnot. We just kind of wanted to start an app that is for the masses. It's for everyone, like everything out there. But we do also think it's very important to do the background and the checking of the IDs and vetting and making sure everyone is who they say they are. So it's a safer way of meeting people, because of all these other platforms, you don't really get vetted. Anyone could be lying about who they are. Nobody's really backgrounding or vetting or checking IDs. Anyone could say anything, use any photo, those types of things. So I think it's important. I think it's needed. I think it will, be helpful for people that want to meet someone that has been pre-screened and maybe, is maybe a bit more, serious about those types of things. So there might be a bit of a fee to do this. We're figuring all of that out. But I think it would be helpful, and I think it would really people will want to use it, because it will take all of the scary stuff out, the people that are being deceitful and dishonest. And I think we're just trying to help the masses, kind of with what we do with the matchmaking side, but more of an app side where they're obviously matching each other, but everyone has been pre-screened and looks like their photos and those types of things.
Sure. Well, I think this helps provide a level of transparency and security that will impact people's trust and the overall experience on your app, don't you think?
Right. Definitely.
Okay. I have one last question for you. What do you see, like, if we're looking into the future of online dating, what do you see as the future of it? Do you think more apps will start focusing on safety, background checks, and transparency, kind of similar to what you're doing?
I would hope so. I would hope they would make them supply something that shows their identification and, verifies that. Some kind of video of some sort so that you can verify they look like their photos.
Oh, a video. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not even that you have to show on your profile, but like the company would screen or something.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where we're going, that route. And I think that's important. I think if you got some kind of verification, or if each person got verified, that kind of thing. But as a whole app, I think that's important to vet. I think it's a scary world out there. I think, people can be anyone they want to be and lie about who they are.
Yeah.
And there's so many bots and people trying to scam and get money out of people. And they're not even, really on the site for dating. There's so many scammers and things out there that I think that would, be helpful to weed out those people that are not really in it for the right reasons as well. If you're vetting and making sure they are who they say they are, it would take more work and effort to join. So it would weed out some of those people that are not being, authentic.
Sure. Just be safe. It can be fun. It can work. It can be amazing, but let's be safe. let's
100%.
Protect ourselves. And if we have kids, the same, protect everyone. Okay, Tammi, is there anything else that you want to toss out there as we wrap up? Just remind people about dating or anything else you wanted to say that we didn't get to?
I think just be open-minded and have fun and enjoy yourself and get out there and try the apps. Try, a matchmaker. Just like sometimes, you get stuck in a rut or frustrated or whatever. Don't give up. But also enjoy your life and enjoy your friends and family. And, we have this one short life to live. But yes, be careful and cautious about who you're letting into your life. And, yeah.
Good advice. So true. Live that life. We only have one very short time here on Earth. So, okay, we're going to get to know you. Speaking of that short time, I wish we had more time to talk with you, but we do something called Fresh 5, where I'm just going to ask you 5 quick questions off the top of your head. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, number 1, movie or book?
Movie.
Love it. Spring or fall?
Spring. Baseball. My boys are big baseball boys. Love spring.
There you go. There you go. Mountains or ocean?
Oh gosh, I love the snowboard, but I really love the warm and the water and the swimming. So I'm gonna go ocean.
Perfect. Iced coffee or hot tea?
Ooh, I like hot, so I'm gonna go with tea. I like hot coffee, but I'm gonna go with tea.
Hot tea, yum, yum. Okay, scary movie or comedy?
Scary all day, every day. I love scary. I love horrors. I know. I hate to watch them alone, but I just love them.
It's so fun, like in the theater too, with your popcorn, your scary movie. It's the best time.
I know. It's like the thrill of it,
Yeah.
It's like makes my heart beat. I love it.
So fun. Good date too, going to the movies and watching a scary movie. I love that too. Okay, well, Tammi, it's been so fun chatting with you. If we want to follow you or get more information or, find out where you are, where can we go? What's the best place?
Yeah, my company website's eliteconnections.com, and I'm Tammi Pickle, and we're on Instagram and Facebook and all of that, Elite Connections or Tammi Pickle. Thank you for having me on.
Amazing, Tammi. Great to talk to you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
And thank you for listening to another episode of Fresh Off the Set. Please rate, review, and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Congrats, you made it to the end. If you want to continue to freshen up your day, you can watch us on Fresh Living every weekday on CBS Channel 2 in Utah at 1 o'clock. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel, KUTV Fresh Living, and follow us on social media. We will see you next week.